One of my main drivers to become a business owner was first impact and also freedom. The level of freedom, it's not just location freedom. It's the freedom to say yes or no to a client. It's the freedom to say yes or no to a project. You can work from anywhere. You can work from everywhere. Guess what? You end up working anywhere, everywhere, all the time. Welcome to Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, life purpose coach, business owner, and your spiritual guide on all things mindset, manifestation, and purpose. This podcast is a space for deep reflections, meaningful conversations to help you expand your mind, dive into the depths of your soul, and create a life that makes you feel alive. Whether you're walking, driving, or simply vibing, take a deep breath and get ready to dive. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani. And today we are sharing part 2 of this series that I called What No One Tells You About Becoming an Entrepreneur. So if you haven't listened to the previous episode, go back to that episode and you're going to hear the first 5 things that no one tells you about becoming an entrepreneur. And today we're going to cover another 5. Again, the reason behind this podcast episode is that I want to share the truth. And some of the truth is nice, positive, uplifting, dream life, high vibes. And some part of that truth, it's not necessarily easy. It's actually challenging. It's actually hard. But I want to share with you all of it so that if you are becoming an entrepreneur or thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or you are an entrepreneur right now, let's have a real conversation. Let's have a real conversation about the fun, uplifting, nice, high vibe. And also let's have a conversation about the parts that are hard and the parts that suck, honestly. So if you haven't listened to part 1, go and listen to part 1. If you have already been listening to part 1, welcome again. Let's continue with the 6th thing that no one tells you about becoming an entrepreneur. And this one is a huge one. This one is freedom. My God, the freedom. We just need a moment for this one because one of my main drivers to become a business owner was first impact and also freedom. I wanted to be wherever I want. I wanted to be doing whatever I wanted to do. And now this is my life. Basically, now I get to do whatever I want. I get to be wherever I want. I get to be there whenever I want. I get to say yes to what is a full body yes. I get to say no for what is a no or a meh. I literally have so much agency over my life, so much power over my life. I can be working in the city that I chose, Paris. This is the city that my partner and I chose to live to create a home. So I can work from Paris. I can work from Argentina, where my whole family lives, where my mom lives. I can work from Lyon in France, which is where my parents live. I can work from the summer house in Cannes. I can work from the winter house in the north of France. I can work from any city. In case I want to visit a friend that lives there, I could just go to their place, spend the weekend with them, and add a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever suits their agenda and my agenda. I can work from Bali. I can work from Tulum. I can work from literally anybody, anywhere in the world. And that to me is so valuable. So valuable. We always talk about the salary and the emotional salary. Part of being an entrepreneur in the online space is having this freedom salary. To me, this is worth, I don't know, 20 or 30K a year. That's the value of my freedom. Being wherever I want to be because, for example, my brother is getting married in Argentina and I just want to fly to Argentina, I can. If whatever, there's an emergency and I need to be somewhere because of this emergency, I can be there. If I want to be bougie and actually go to Australia for a weekend, which is something that I'm going to do in November, I can actually go to Australia for a weekend. And then, because I'm going there and I have to be there for a weekend for an event, you know what? I'm actually going to put a couple of days here and there before and after the event. And I'm actually going to do a trip to Australia. I'm going to be working, but I'm also going to be enjoying Australia, where I've never been before. So this level of freedom is so valuable to me. So from the amount of revenue that the business is generating, I feel like I get 20 or 30K on top of it, which is the value that my freedom has for me. So this is just fantastic. And the level of freedom, it's not just location freedom. It's the freedom to say yes or no to a client. It's the freedom to say yes or no to a project. If a person writes to me, they want to do a collaboration and I don't feel it, I'm like, thank you for reaching out, but this is not a priority right now, or thank you for reaching out, but I don't think our audiences are a good fit, whatever it might be. But if it does feel aligned, I can say, yes, let's do it. Let's do it right now. And the same for clients. When people want to work with me, we go through a discovery call. And this discovery call is so important because we tune in for 45 minutes. This is a free call. So we just tune in there and we chat about the objectives that this person has, the issues that this person has. And I immediately know after 5 minutes, I just feel their energy, I listen to them, and I just know after 5 minutes, is this a dream client? Do I want to work with this person? Yes or no? And if I think this person is a dream client, I love their energy, I feel like I can actually help this person, I'm going to say yes. If I don't like their energy, if I realize, you know what, the motivation of this person, the kind of business that they want to set up, or the thing that they actually want to achieve, it's not aligned with my values, then you know what? I've already said no to clients because our values weren't aligned. The kind of activity that they wanted to do wasn't aligned with me, or sometimes just the energy doesn't click. And I get to say yes or no to the clients according to what my intuition tells me. So this is true freedom, because when you are in a corporate job, you just take all of the projects that you are given by your superiors, and you just take all of the clients that you're given, depending on the role that you have, of course, but you don't get to decide. You just bring revenue to the company, you do what you have to do, and you suck it up. Here, there's no sucking it up. I say very clearly yes or no to whatever project, collaboration, client comes my way. And that level of freedom is very, very, very important to me. The thing number 7 that no one tells you when you become an entrepreneur, it's actually very, very related to this one. Because you can work from anywhere, you can work from everywhere. Guess what? You end up working anywhere, everywhere, all the time. So I remember when I was in the corporate job, because deep down I wasn't enjoying it, I was so good at setting boundaries. I would never work on the evenings. I would never work on the weekends. Never. I think I worked on a weekend maybe twice in 12 years in marketing. So I would do the work that I was supposed to do within the time that it was supposed to be done. That's it. Sometimes I could stay a little bit late to finish what I wanted to finish, but once I was gone, I was gone. I was not working. I was not checking my emails. Gone. And basically, what happened with Blisstopia, if I'm absolutely honest, it's that because I'm loving it so much, I love what I do. I love my clients. I'm obsessed with this work. I'm obsessed with the company. I'm obsessed with my clients. I just love the whole thing. It doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like something that you need to do. It's not a job anymore. It's a creation. it's a business, it's not a job. So what happened was that because I can work from anywhere and everywhere, I found myself working a lot more, and I would go on holidays and still work a little bit. I would be in fantastic places and I would still take my phone to take a picture to post it on Instagram, or I would still answer to some DMs, or I would still answer to a message from my clients, or I would still answer an email. And it was a lot harder to set boundaries because I enjoy it so much. And because I just take my laptop, I have a very thin MacBook Air. I just take it literally everywhere. So in the end, I ended up working a lot more and having less boundaries with my business. So that was, I think, the 2 first years in business, I was not having boundaries. Let's be honest, I was not having boundaries. And basically in this 3rd year, now I'm being a lot more intentional. And I realized that at some point, I just need a week off from social media, because now before it was like the moment of pleasure, right? When you have a corporate job, you get back home, you open your social media, you check your friends. It's like your leisure, right? But now social media is my work. I'm on social media the whole time. So for me, vacations right now is not thinking about social media, not posting on social media, just not being on social media. That's my holidays right now. That's how my mind truly, truly, truly rests. Basically, I just stop engaging with social media, stop engaging with emails, stop engaging with everything. So this is something that this year, this is my 3rd year in business. This is something that now I'm doing a lot more intentionally. And I just decide, okay, this week I'm taking a break. I'm taking a proper break from the business, from social media, from everything. Because the truth is that I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I can take a week off and it's going to be all right. Like a proper week off when I'm 100% disconnected from the business. So this is something that this year I've been doing a lot more intentionally. Is this now 100% mastered? Do I have all the boundaries that I would like to have with my business? No. I still answer some messages. I still do some things here and there. But again, it doesn't feel like a chore. So I'm like, okay, if it feels good, I'll just do it a little bit. And if it's not, I just will do it when I get back. So is this mastered? No. Could I have more boundaries with my job, with my business? Yes. Am I being a little bit more intentional, trying to really disconnect when I want to disconnect? Yes. But this is something that no one tells you. You think you're going to leave your corporate job and you're going to work less. You're going to probably end up working a little bit more simply because you love it so much now. And that's okay, right? I think when rush of creativity comes through you, we don't need to stop it. We can also enjoy when the creativity is there. We can also enjoy when the inspiration is there. And that's okay. So that's number 7. Number 8, and this is a hard one. What no one tells you about becoming an entrepreneur is that you might lose people that you love. And partly this one, reason number 8, is the first that came to mind when I started thinking about this episode, because this is something no one told me about. And I want to let you know that this could happen if you decide to become an entrepreneur. Because basically what happens is that when you follow your purpose, you decide to become an entrepreneur, you're changing. You are changing. Your values are changing. Your conversations are changing. The things that you're interested in are changing. The kind of exchanges that you want to have with people are changing. You are changing profoundly. And it can happen both ways, but it could happen that some of your friends, some of your colleagues don't like this new version. They prefer the old version because they could connect with the old version. Now, let me give you some examples of 2 best friends, or shall I say ex-best friends. One of them was, we were friends for, I think both of them, we were friends for 10 years. And basically, one of them, we were connecting when I was heartbroken. We were connecting when I didn't have enough self love. We were connecting when we were both parting. We were connecting when we were both being introduced into spirituality. We were connecting when I was not aligned with my purpose. We were connecting when I was single, and my whole life changed. I found my purpose. I set up my business. I no longer complain about hating my job. I have a partner, a beautiful, loving relationship. I'm not single anymore. I am not suffering because the dating world is horrible anymore. So when I started moving in my life, things started working for me. I found the love of my life. I'm in a beautiful relationship. I found my purpose. I set up a thriving business. And this person is still single and up until recently still in a corporate job that she hated. So we were a match when we were both single. We were a match when we both hated our marketing jobs. And then at some point, I got a partner. And at some point, I found my purpose. And at some point, I set up a thriving business. So we were no longer a match because now I was vibrating at a frequency of joy, creativity, fun, love. And she was still vibrating in life is hard, dating is hard. I hate my job. 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 And we were just no longer a match. And this one was really hard for me because it was truly one of my best friends. And I had to grieve this friendship. This was not like, okay, whatever. I don't care about this person. Let it be. I really deeply care about this friendship. But at some point, we were no longer a match. And we tried to make it work because we both cared about each other, but it just wasn't working. So at some point, I think both of us, we were just like, you know what, we're just going to let this go. And that hurts. So this could happen in different ways. I can give you another example of people who loved the version of me that was working in marketing, successful in the corporate job, the party girl, going, and doing fancy things. They liked the party version of me. They liked the unconscious version of me. They liked the single version of me. But then at some point, I became super spiritual. I became super conscious. I became very woo-woo. I became, I think, way too spiritual. And these people didn't like my new identity. So these people basically disappeared from my life. They never wrote me ever again. They didn't invite me to things. Before, they were inviting me to trips every year, to parties every year, to things around Europe every year. And basically, they just stopped talking to me. So they didn't like this new version. And then another example was a friend, another one of my best friends. And basically, we were connecting. We were good friends at a point in which I was suffering a lot. We were friends when we were both into spirituality, minimalism, and we were both trying to find ourselves. We were both suffering, but we were there for each other. And we were there sharing, a minimalistic life, not too many objects, like a very simple life. So what happened later? Basically, I started owning my desire for wealth. I started mixing spirituality and money. There's a huge limiting belief out there that money is not related to spirituality, that money is superficial, money is not spiritual. And I think this person buys into that limiting belief, but I'm not buying into that limiting belief anymore. I know that I can be spiritual and a millionaire. I know that I can be spiritual and extremely, extremely wealthy. So when I started owning my desire for wealth, when I started mixing spirituality and wealth, when I stopped suffering, when I stopped needing reassurance, then we were no longer a match. And basically, in this case, it was more me who decided to just silently walk away, because I was like, my intuition was telling me something is not clicking. Something is not clicking. And I decided to walk away from that relationship. So it does hurt, because here I'm talking about two best friends and some kind of close friends, I would say. Of course, it hurts. It hurts to lose people that you love, but at the same time, it's normal, because you are changing. Your priorities are changing. Your values are changing. The conversations that you're interested in are changing. I no longer connect with the conversations in which people complain about their jobs. I'm like, this is a waste of time. You could get a new job. You could set up your own business. This conversation is a waste of time. I'm not interested in conversations in which people complain about money, things being too expensive, the economy being complicated, not making enough money. I just do not relate to those things anymore. I only relate to, I had this income goal and I completely surpassed that thing, or I have this income goal and I'm working towards that. I only relate to expansive topics, expansive conversations about wealth right now. I no longer relate to suffering, to being heartbroken, to needing love, to feeling bad because you've been rejected in love. Of course, if I have a friend who has an issue, something happens, I'm going to be there for that person. But if that person is constantly in that situation, constantly suffering, constantly complaining, constantly in negative energy, I'm just not a match for that anymore. And that's just life. And it hurts to me, it hurts to them, but it's fine. I think when you find your purpose, you become an entrepreneur, you're going to change, and therefore your social circle is going to change. It hurts, yes. And I don't think we talk about friendship loss in the way we should, because it does happen. It does happen. And the reason why I wanted to create this episode is because I want you to know, if at some point this happens to you, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's fine. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It breaks your heart. But we need to trust that this one is also going to be linked to the ninth thing that no one tells you when you become an entrepreneur, which is that, yes, you're going to lose people that you love, but at the same time, you're going to meet so many new cool people. Like, oh my God, I don't think I realize how many amazing people I've met because of Blisstopia. The connections that I have with women from all over the world, whether they are my clients. Oh my God, my clients. They're literally the kindest women on earth, huge hearts, sharp minds, ambitious. They are just so unique, so amazing. And they can be my clients. It could also be people that I'm collaborating with, people that I invite to the podcast, people that I do a collaboration and we launch something together. Like, for example, the She Thrives retreat. I met magnificent women in there that we collaborated, whether that's the other co-founders or yoga teachers or the chefs, the private chefs that were coming to the retreat. Just, I met so many fantastic people. And this is really funny because it can actually, setting up your own business will give you new connections, but also, and this happened a lot, it can give you a new level of intimacy in old connections. It was really funny because many women from my university studies back in Buenos Aires, we were friends on Instagram. We haven't talked for probably 10 years. And then at some point they see that I'm doing this thing and they know me, they know the high achiever from university times. They know that I was into marketing and all of that. And now they're like, what is she doing now? That is so cool. We have so many things in common. And actually they reach out And we realize, you know what? We're actually connecting a lot more in this way. It happened with people from my university back in Buenos Aires. It happened with old colleagues who were like, I didn't know you were into meditation and spirituality and all of these things. And then we become like amazing friends, or they become clients, because now we have this new connection. Because basically, I've changed. I'm showing the world who I am now. And then either new people who are aligned with this new version, or old people who are actually aligned and they prefer this new version, they reappear in my life and we have a fantastic connection. So yes, you're going to lose some people. It hurts, it sucks, but also you're going to meet new fantastic people. And in the end, I always trust that the people that are aligned will be there in your life. So yes, you lose some, you gain a lot. In the end, the balance is absolutely positive. And then the 10th thing that no one tells you when you become an entrepreneur is that this is what your soul has been preparing for you for your whole life. Basically, you sit down and you connect the dots. If you remember that famous Steve Jobs speech, you can never connect the dots when you look forward. You can always connect the dots when you look backwards. You sit in there, you have your own business, and you realize, actually, that experience when I was 16 shaped me into being an entrepreneur. Actually, all of those trips and all of those people that I met from all over the world shaped me into having an online business that serves women from literally all over the world. That book that I read about racism shapes me to be able to work with women from all races. Actually, that relationship that you had at some point with a woman exploring your bisexuality helps me be empathetic with all kinds of people, LGBTQ, people with physical issues, people from different races, people from different religion. It just helps me be way more empathetic with everybody in the spectrum. Actually, going into a top business school and having a marketing career helps you do a fantastic job in marketing and building your own brand and selling your services and setting up a proper business. It's not a hobby, it's a proper business. Actually, all of those things, all of those shitty things that you lived in your corporate life, toxic colleagues, selfish bosses, everything helps you in understanding your clients when they're going through something like that. Actually, same transition that you did from the corporate job to becoming an entrepreneur is the very thing that you're teaching women now how to do. Actually, that hobby that you had about spirituality was not a hobby. It was your soul leading you to your highest potential, to your soul purpose. I could continue and go on and on and on and on and on and on. But when you find your purpose, and if you decide to become an entrepreneur, you become an entrepreneur. But if you don't decide to become an entrepreneur, this is still relevant. But when you find your purpose, you realize every step of the way was leading you here. You are meant to be here. This is for you. This is what the universe, God, source, angels wanted for you. This is the place to be. You're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing. And this was all beautifully orchestrated for you. Every step of the way was leading here. So I'm going to close this episode with that thought. I hope you enjoyed this series of what no one tells you about becoming an entrepreneur. I really wanted to be raw, vulnerable, and share everything. The shiny side, the difficult side, the dark side, everything. So if you resonated with this, send me a DM. I love receiving your DMs when you enjoy an episode and you've been reflecting and thinking about it, I love receiving your DMs. So just shoot a DM and let me know which one resonated the most with you, which one was a food for thought for you. I would love to listen from you. So thank you so much. I will see you next week on the next episode. And in the meantime, in Blisstopia we trust.